presentation. Good morning. So, this is Figueira da Foz, the city. Not the most sunny day, but it is a traditional spot for summer vacations in Portugal. Beautiful beach, very important fishing industry, and a fast developing port for shipping goods. Okay, and we hope to put CO2 storage offshore 20 kilometers from here, head to the valley. So, point, no, not this. How do I point? Yeah. Figueira da Foz is here, okay? But the circles here actually represent the spots where or the sources where we think CO2 capture facilities should exist from 2028 to 2050, according to this project, Strategy CCUS. So this is the main scenario that we developed together with a lot of partners. And the circles here represent the sources that should capture CO2, and they are in three sectors: cement and lime, glass, and paper and pulp. That's where we think there are possibilities for the technology to be needed in the country. No power sector. Here, they don't need it, really. And and they should develop it, and the red line is actually the transport network by pipeline. I develop it in detail, well, in some detail within this project, and it should start with the cement and glass plant in 2028. That was the plan, evolving then to 2050 with this total amount of CO2 captured. The plan is then to capture the accumulated up to 2050, 93 million tons. Remember, we are not the most industrialized country, but it is a significant proportion of the country emissions. Okay? There are some other important sources down south here. They are not included in this network, but they should connect it. This is the cost that we are estimating for it, from 69 to 86 euros per CO2 avoided. Discounted values, there was a long discussion within Strategy CCUS if these values were within what is expected. We came to the conclusion that they are correct, okay? So this is what I expect. And what we want to focus now is on this part here. So the idea, and this was put forward more by the industry than by the researchers themselves, is that this network would start with a capture facility in this cement plant here in Sozelas, and a capture facility, pilot scale also, in a glass factory here. Transporting CO2 primarily by train, because they do not want to start at large scale capture, they want to start smaller scale capture, and then they need a place to store CO2. And that's how it started the work. And here in comes pilot strategy, which you have heard about yesterday. You will hear about it tomorrow too. But the main aim is that we should discuss in this project, which has a huge consortium, detailed characterization of storage sites in Portugal, Spain, France, some further work to be done also in Poland and Greece. But we want to do it, well, the full chain studies to get to a final investment, to be ready for a final investment decision to be made, including not only the characterization, the design of the facilities, of the injection facilities, but also the permitting and approval. So we include all the parts on technical evaluation, safety and performance, investment proposal, the legal and regulatory framework, and very importantly, we are trying to engage with the community. So we're hard to make a decision about where to store our CO2 that those two sources want to start capturing, let's say, in 2028. And we started by, there was some possibilities onshore and a lot more capacity offshore. So limited capacity onshore, but quite a lot of capacity offshore. we had to choose. This is our database of information, all coming from the oil and gas industry. The dots are the wells, the lines are the 2D seismics, the colors is the 3D seismics, okay? So existing 3D seismics. And we went to a multi-criteria analysis, applying on 2 potential onshore locations, 3 offshore prospects, with evaluating for each of the sites the technical aspects that are mentioned here, non-technical too. Not going into details. It took us about 18 months in pilot strategy to come to a conclusion, and we went for the offshore. We also assessed and this is very relevant, for each of these areas, we assessed the data quality and coverage. And that was one of the main decisions for going offshore. Not only we have a lot more capacity offshore, we are much more confident about the quality of the reservoir, about the data quality itself. So that was an important issue to go offshore. The reservoir is also much better quality, which means we probably would need we'll need a lower number of wells than onshore. It is more active. The active seismicity is lower. An important issue in Portugal, which I won't discuss now, but it is important. So from the 3 offshore prospects, we went to this one, Q40V1, which is just 20 kilometers from Figueira da Foz. Figueira da Foz is here. And it has an estimated storage capacity of 3 million tons, but it has nearby some other prospects with a higher capacity. And this was also the second important aspect for selecting offshore, the ability to upscale, okay? Because obviously, if we go for, especially in a project like pilot strategy, in which the idea is to characterize at the pilot scale, it makes no sense to go offshore unless you are certain that you can upscale to the commercial scale. So, in essence, our part of the project in pilot strategy went from the pilot scale to certainly we are going to the commercial scale. Otherwise, there's no point in trying to do it like that, to do it here. Very briefly about what is our reservoir. It's the lower Cretaceous sandstones. We call it the Torres Vedras Formation. Very good quality, average porosity, 350 meters roughly of thickness, average porosity 90%, net to gross insane in the 2 wells nearby, more than 80%, so very high, almost, we always get suspicious when it gets this good, but the 2 wells nearby, they have it there. Primary seal, it's relatively shallow. That's one of the reasons why I chose this prospect. Relatively shallow, otherwise costs would inflate. Okay, so primary seal, well, we could use it, limestones, marls, shales. We'd be happy with a better seal, but the secondary seal is actually quite good, okay? Shales. Not silicic clastics, those are clays from the Aveiro group. This is quite good. We are now at the stages of building. We did the conceptual model. We are now at the stages of building the static model. Should be completed this month. Actually, this is the facies model from the 3D seismics. Our reservoir is this one here. Okay, this includes all the underburden to the basement. So okay, but our reservoir is this one here. And what's left to do in pilot strategy, which ends in 2026, not February, but in April? Well, we're building then the static modeling. We'll start doing the dynamic simulations soon, including optimizing the well location, really getting a dynamic storage capacity. And then we are doing, and this is being coordinated by EFPEN. And then we are doing also a comprehensive safety and performance assessment under the guidance of Isaline, which is just over there, okay? And this will run until the end of the project. We are happy with so far with the results of the risk assessment for the offshore area. It's better than we expected, okay? Then work package 4 which you will hear about tomorrow, is doing the design parts, preliminary well design and cost review, how the capture and transport facilities. In our case, it will be most likely the onshore transport by train, then optimize well design, monitoring, design the monitoring procedures, the permitting documents. You will hear a bit about this tomorrow by Paola Cantelli. IGME is leading this task. 5 minutes, okay. Okay, so I've shown some positive aspects of the offshore side. Let's go to the less positive. We have, and this was a good decision by the project coordinator, we have in pilot strategy a strong focus on of public engagement, society engagement. It's a very strong aspect of it. In Portugal, it is being done by the Institute of Social Sciences, and there's a lot of activities. I would like to stress that we have a regional stakeholder committee involving national and regional governmental agencies, local authorities, companies, business associations. We were discussing with them, first initially through interviews, and now with meetings. We have the second regional stakeholder committee meeting in 2 weeks' time, and together with them, we are identifying which are the barriers and challenges. Some of them we already knew. Oh, sorry, how do I go back? I go back here, easier. We already knew that regulatory aspects are more challenging in Portugal for the offshore than for the onshore, simply because the Maritime Special Plan does not include CCUS. The directive is translated in the national law, but not in the Maritime Special Plan. So we know it is challenging, but in any case, we would have to go for the offshore at some point because the onshore reservoir is not so good. So might as well start working on that, and we are kind of trying to turn that into a positive point. We're trying to engage with the people that does the licensing. Costs are much higher, of course. The economy of the region is largely based on the maritime activity, so we really need to take that into consideration, so to not to cause restrictions to the tourism. No platform, no injection platform, if possible. To the fishing activities, let's not impose too many restrictions. So we're kind of trying to do this, engaging with the local activities, and maintaining as less the restrictions to the other activity as less as possible. Okay? How do we do this? How do we go for the offshore, knowing it is more costly, knowing that we need to decrease restrictions, and we need to maintain flexibility during the pilot phase because there won't be that much CO2, so we are not going to build a pipeline infrastructure offshore initially because the plans are for until 2035 for the capture volumes to be relatively small. So in comes another project, which I haven't started yet, and that you will hear about tomorrow. Roman will talk about this, I think, extensively. Roman is not there. We haven't started it, but what we are planning to do, this just came really on time. This company, Norwegian, Nemo Maritime, is developing this concept of transporting the CO2 by ship, nothing new there, but then linking directly to the wells, to the offshore wells, and injecting the CO2. For us, they are planning to, we are going to study this in several regions, including Portugal. The aim for us, the relevance for us, is that reduces costs, avoids a platform in the initial stages at least, because it will be a temporary solution for us. And it provides the flexibility that we need initially. So we haven't started this. It should start in the 1st of November. Now, we were very lucky that when building our participation in this project or in this proposal the community, the local community, showed quite a lot of interest. Actually, they've been quite supportive of the project, of the offshore solution, although they point the restrictions and constraints. They've been quite supportive. When we were lucky enough to have Simpor and Lust, the two main CO2 emitters, being on board of the project, in the industry club, and especially the Port Authority of Figueira da Foz, and it is a port. It's not a large port, but it's developing, and they have plans to develop, and they understood that this is also a business opportunity for them. Yeah, I need to finish. Okay, sorry. And so they are also involved, and the municipality of Figueira da Foz has been very supportive, and so very briefly, what we will aim in the end is just to prove the technical conditions for CO2 storage offshore Portugal, but also to upscale it, okay? This was one of the initial plans, initial aims of pilot strategy. We should include here upscale to commercial scale. And then licensing, environmental and economic studies, linked to CO2 capture pilots, engage local communities, and with this new project, clarify the regulating and licensing procedures. That's really important for us. Offshore. Minimize constraints to sea-based economic activities and flexible option. This is with the last project. Thanks to all the partners in Strategy CCUS, Pilot Strategy CTS. I won't try to put all the logos here, too much things, but I did put the Portuguese partners here that have been involved in this project. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Wait. Oh, fun. This one was interesting.